Has all these things now. It says you have to consent to being live streamed. You have to consent to being recorded.
Alex is the waiting room. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
There we go. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Rabbi Zach Shapiro here with Cantor Lonnie Freilich, and we welcome you to Temple Akiba's Shabbat morning service, whether you're here under our tent at Temple Akiba, or if you're joining us via Zoom or YouTube. We welcome you, we embrace you. We really are excited that you're here, not only to observe Shabbat, but to celebrate as Jocelyn becomes a bat mitzvah. We've waited a long time for this, and it's not what we anticipated when we first dreamed about this date or when we postponed the date. But here we are, and we are bringing holiness to such an incredible moment. Most of you have a blue prayer book, and we'll be following along with that prayer book as Jocelyn leads us through the service. If you've brought your cell phone with you, please make sure that it's in the silent mode. Don't just assume, but make sure that it's on vibrate. In fact, once you do, keep them away. You don't need to take photos because we have a whole slew of professionals who are here to capture the moment for the rest of us. Cantor, do you want to say something about our music as you turn your phone off?
I will. I'm just making sure my phone is off too. So Jocelyn is going to be leading us through most of our prayers this morning, and we welcome your participation. There might be melodies you don't know or words you don't know, but hopefully you'll pick it up as we keep singing and as she keeps singing. And even if you're not sure of it, just sing la, la, la. But we love your participation, whether it's swaying to the music or singing with us. The more we can engage in this service, the more we are showing Jocelyn our love.
And one more comment just about the wearing of masks. We're still under the protocols of mask wearing here. If you are coming up to do an aliyah, most of you will go to where the cantor is standing. You can take your mask off for that. And of course, when Jocelyn is leading the service, she will not be wearing her mask either. We're going to open with the singing of Hine Matov. It's on page 70, page 70 of our books. It means how wonderful it is that we're here together as one family.
Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
We continue now on page 72 for the presentation of the Talit. Jocelyn, we're going to ask you to come forward along with your grandparents Roz, and Michael. So wonderful that there are 3 generations of Temple Akiba here under the tent.
As I wrap myself in the Talit, I fulfill the mitzvah of my Creator. Bless Adonai, O my soul, Adonai, my God, how great you are. You are robed in glory and majesty, wrapping yourself in light as in a garment, spreading forth the heavens like a curtain. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu b'chitatei b'tzitzit. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to wrap ourselves in the fringes.
You give Grandma and Grandpa a hug and a kiss. Yeah.
I was going to say, you walked away. I was waiting for her.
What the next one was. Beautiful.
It won't stay up. Nice.
You stay here.
You're here
Okay.
for the rest of the trip.
Jocelyn, for the very first time as a Jewish adult, you fulfilled the commandment of putting on the Talit. And whenever we do something for the first time, we offer a blessing called the Shehechianu. It thanks God for giving us life and sustaining us and enabling us to reach this moment. In our prayer books, it's on page 344.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehachianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehachianu v'kimanu v'higianu Razman hazeh.
Every day we have the opportunity to capture beautiful divine miracles. In our prayer book, we have a little bit of a head start. These are called the Nisim B'chol Yom, the blessings for our daily miracles. We're on page 84. Jocelyn will be chanting each blessing, but as a response, we're going to say Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tselem Elohim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat horim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen. Continuing now with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 106.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'amal divrah hirutei v'yamlich malhutei v'hayehon uvyomehon uvhayedehol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, v'meru, amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevara, le'al alma me'almaya, yitbara, yitbara, v'yishaba, v'pa'ar v'tramam v'tnaseh, v'tadar, v'tale, v'talal, shmei dekudesha, brehu. La'elam min kol birhata v'shirata, tushbehata v'nehemata, Damiram Be'alama, V'meru, Amen.
We continue now with the formal call to worship, the Baruch Hu. It's on page 108, and we invite all who are able to please rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated, everyone. Our next prayer is the Yotzer. It's on page 110, and it talks about the light that God brings into the world. As Jocelyn shares the Yotzer, for those of you who are at home, we would love you to add your voice to our liturgy and take a moment to write in the chat box some way that you believe that Jocelyn brings light into our world. So because, again, this prayer is about light, we'd like you at home to share your own thoughts about how Jocelyn brings light into the world.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvarei chosha, osei shalom uvarei et hakol, ham'ir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha berahamim, utuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid, ma'aseh v'reshit, marbu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam bechokma asita, ma'ach ha'aretz kinyanecha, titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shava ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al ma'ora or she'asita, yafa'arucha sela, or chadash al sion ta'ir, v'nizkech hulanu v'chira le'oro, baruch atah Adonai yotzer hamarot.
Beautiful. And some of these responses may come in now, some of them may come in a little bit later, but I'd like to share what Robin, I believe it's pronounced Brûlé, wrote. She said, Jocelyn brings light into the world by walking forward in faith. What a beautiful, beautiful thing to share, Jocelyn, for Jocelyn. We'll add more as they come in a little bit later. In the meantime, we're going to continue with the Shema Yisrael. It's on page 114, and we invite all who are able once again to please rise.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated, everyone. We're going to continue with the V'ahavta, and as Jocelyn chants this on page 116, at home, continue to write in what are ways that Jocelyn brings light into our world.
Ve'ahavta es Adonai Elohecha, ve'echol levavcha, uve'chol nafshecha, uve'chol me'odecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anohi metzaveha, chayom alevavecha, v'shinantan levaneha, b'dibarta bam, v'shifteta b'beitecha, uvletecha vardera, uvshochbecha, uvkumecha, Ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayula totafot beineinecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitam kedoshim lelohehem. Ani Adonai Elohehem, asher hoseatiatem meretz Mitzrayim, l'chiyot lahem lelohim, Ani Adonai Elohehem.
Wow. Kendra, do you want to share a little of what's being written?
Sure, I would love to. Forgive me if I get the last name wrong. Josh Kamir, her creativity, unique perspective, and sparkling personality.
Amy Mitchell wrote in, Jocelyn brings light into this world with her kind and gentle heart and dedication to friendships.
Tom McGann says Jocelyn's grace through her journey to this day has been inspirational.
Samantha Pilot writes, by carrying forth the values of her family and making the world a better place.
Daniel Schwed says by giving us a bat mitzvah celebration to look forward to as we endured the challenging times.
Our next prayer is the Miriam song, and this is connected to the Micha Mocha. This is the song that our ancestors sang as they crossed the Sea of Reeds into the Promised Land. No, into the desert, eventually to the Promised Land. But it's kind of like the challenge that we've gone through in the past year and a few months, that we have made it through to this new period, but we got to keep on marching forward. We're going to encourage you to clap, to sing, and to just fill this tent with so much song and joy. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long.
And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every thread and every strand she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances for the light.
1, 2, 7, 8, and the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long.
As Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon could to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land.
5, 6, 7, 8, and the women dancing with their timbrels
Followed Miriam as
she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long.
And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might.
We've just lived through a miracle. We're going to dance tonight. 5, 6, 7, 8, and the women dancing with their timbrels
Followed Miriam as
she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Norah tehilot osef elem, Norah tehilot osef elem. 5, 6, 7, 8, and the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long.
Woo.
Jocelyn, you're going to actually continue with the more traditional version of the Michamocha, the one that you have been studying. It's still here on page 100.
22.
Thank you, 122.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Norah tehilot osef elem.
We're going to now continue with the Amidah, the central prayer in our entire service. It's on page 124. Once again, we ask all who are able to please rise.
Adonai sefata tifta ufia gita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov. Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibor, ve'Hanorah. El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Vekone hakol, vezoher haste abot bimaho, ume vigula livne vnehem, leman shemo be'ahava, mela ozer umashia umagain, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, Vezrat Sarah. Atah gibor leolam Adonai, Mehaye hakol atah Rav lechoshia. Mehalkel hayim behesed, Mehaye hakol berahamim rabim. Zomech noflim verofech cholim, Umatir asurim. Umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamo chabal gevuro umido mela melech memit umehaye umatzmiya meshua v'ne'eman atah lehayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mehaye Chakol Ekadesh et Shimha Ba'olam Keshem Shmakdishim O Tobish Me Marom Kakatu Vayad Neviecha Vekara Zel Ze Ve'amar Kadosh 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 Adonai Sevaot Melochol Haaretz Kevodo Adir Adirenu Adonai Adonenu Ma'adir Shimha B'chol Haaretz Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkomo Ehad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, v'hu Yashmienu, berachamav le'enei kol chai. Ani Adonai Eloheihem, yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Yitzion, Ledor vador, Hallelujah. Ledor vador nagid god lecha, Uol netzach netzachim kedushat ha-nakdish, V'shiv ha Eloheinu, mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'kadosh.
Jocelyn, you can go stand with your family. Friends, we're going to continue in our own silent prayers between pages 132 and 142. We'll also just take an opportunity to follow the prayers in your own heart and soul. And when you're finished with your own private prayer, you may be seated. We're going to ask for Jocelyn's classmates and friends from Temple Akiba, as well as Sloan, to come forward. Leave your prayer books where they are to help us close our silent blessings. the seat, not you. Isn't Jocelyn doing an awesome job? Right? It's so nice for the cantor and I to just sort of sit back and allow someone else's prayers to lift ours toward the heavens. So thank you for that gift, Jocelyn. You have brought us on a journey now to Seder Kriyat Torah, the service for the reading of Torah. And in our traditional Torah cycle, we should be reading from Korach on this Shabbat, but Jocelyn had an option. She could either continue to prepare the portion from her original date or learn a brand new one. She opted for the one that she had been preparing, so that kind of made sense. So she will be chanting from the portion known as Re'eh. And in order for us to do this and to bring the Torah out, we need people to open the Ark. And so we would like to invite Sarah Bischoff back up along with Callista Thompson. If the two of you will come forward, and we invite the congregation to rise. We're on page 244, 244. So Callista, why don't you open? And Sarah, you'll close it.
אין כמוך אלוהים אדוני ואין כמעשיך מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור אדוני מלך אדוני מלך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד Adonai Oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom, av harachamim, heitiv avitzoncha et Zion, tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim Ki v'cha levad patachnu Melech Elram v'nisa Adon olamim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Udevar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato.
Lador vador, from generation to generation, the Torah has been passed down, beginning with a conversation that Moses had with God at Mount Sinai. Moses shared the conversation with Joshua, Joshua with the elders with the prophets, and the prophets with those of the great assembly. They said three things. The Torah is based on, well, let me rephrase this. The world is based on Torah, on worship, and on acts of loving kindness. As you receive this Torah today, Jocelyn, someday you may have the opportunity and pleasure to pass it on to your children and grandchildren as they ascend the way you have. Sharing in this conversation are your grandparents, Michael and Roz. We're going to ask you to come forward, as well as Jerry Barnes and Karen, and Luana Barnes, Joel and Christy, and Sloan, if you'll join us as well for this sacred chain. So we're going to have grandparents standing on this side, parents in the middle, Sloan on the very end, Jocelyn next to Sloan.
Dad, you gotta go.
You're fine right there. Yeah, perfect.
That's not true. She's black. So come over here. You're not? She's not part of it.
ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Ehad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shmo.
Adonai, Shemo Yafta.
על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. Please be seated everyone. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. We're going to be surrounding Jocelyn with many blessings right now. With the exception of those from the immediate Savitt family, everyone who is offering an aliyah will go over to the podium where the cantor was standing, and there is a sheet there that has the words for the aliyah. For the first aliyah, we invite forward all of Jocelyn's friends, again from Temple Akiba, who have already had a bat mitzvah, to come forward. You're going to go right over there.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Re'ei Anohi Notain Lifnehem Hayom Beraha Uchlala Et HaBiraha Asher Tishmeu El Mitzvah Adonai Eloheihem Asher Anohi Metzaveh Ethem Hayom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you so much, everyone. Our next aliyah is joining us by Zoom. We invite forward Samantha Pilot, Alex Levine, and Andrew Levine. Ya'amdu Milcha Simcha bat Moshe v'Shmuel Michal ben Herschel v'Moshe Shmuel ben Herschel. Hey folks, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
V'haklala Im lo tishma'u el mitzvot Adonai Elohechem v'sartem min hadera asher Anohi metzaveh ethem hayom lalechet aharei Elohim ahirim asher lo yiratem v'haya ki yaviyaha Adonai Elohecha el haaretz asher ata v'shama l'risha v'natata et habracha al har girizim v'et haklala al har eval.
Blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan betochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you so much. For our third Aliyah, we invite forward Debbie, Glenn, Jacob, and Riley Salners, Ta'amod, Devora bat Michael Rivka.
Baruch Adonai
Hambarach, Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Amach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher banu mikol ha'amim v'natan banu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Halohema be'ever hayarden Ahare deret mevo hashemesh be'eretz hakna'ani hayoshev be'arava mul hagilgal eitzel elonei moreh ki atem ovrim et hayarden levot lareshet et haaretz asher Adonai Elohechem noten lahem V'rishtem otah v'shavtem ba.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'yenu olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you so much, everyone. For our fourth Aliyah, we invite forward Rosalind Savitt, Luana Barnes, and Karen Barnes.
Ready? Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim letan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ushmachtem la'asot et kol hachukim ve'et hamishpatim asher anohi noten lifneihem hayom berachecha ele hachukim ve'hamishpatim asher tishmerun la'asot be'aretz Asher ata Adonai Elohei avotecha leha l'risha kol hayamim asher atem hayim al ha'adama.
Okay, ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayil natanu b'knotenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you so much, Yasher Koach. For our next Aliyah, we now invite forward Michael Savitt and Gerald Barnes, Ya'amod Michael ben Sholem Shachna v'Yakova Tamar.
Okay, start here. Right here, okay. Baruch et Adonai Hamorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amin v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Abed ta'adun et kol ha'mekomot asher abdu sham hagoyim asher atem yorshim otam et Elohehem al cheharim haramim ve'al hagivaot v'tahat kol eitz ra'anan v'nitatztem et mizbechotam V'shirehem et matzevotam, v'asherehem tisrafu ba'esh, uvsilei Elohehem tegadaun, v'ibadtem et shemam, min hamakom halchu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam notah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Yasher Koach.
Good job, you did.
For our sixth Aliyah, we invite forward Joel, Christy, and Sloan Savitt. Ya'amdu Shalom Shachna ben Michael, V'fega Leah bat Shalom Shachna. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amin v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Lo ta'asun kain la'adonai Elohehem, ki im el hamekom asher yifar Adonai Elohehem mikol shivtehem lasum et shemo sham leshichno tidrefu uvata shama v'have
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natad b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, you can give her a hug or a kiss.
Hello.
Ta'amod ha'bachura ha'bat mitzvah, Yaakova Tamar bat Shalom Shachna. We now invite the bat mitzvah herself, Jocelyn Blue Savitt, for her aliyah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamevarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amin v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
V'havetem shama olotehem v'zivachem v'eit maserotehem v'eit terumat yidhem v'nidrehem v'nidvotehem v'chorot bekarhem v'sonehem v'achaltem sham lifnei Adonai Elohehem u'shmachtem Bechol mishla yidhem atem uvtehem asher beraheha Adonai Elohecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'hayei olam nata b'tohenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach. Wow.
Not with my Torah.
Jocelyn, stand over by your family for a second as we prepare the Torah to lift up. So we're going to raise the Torah so you can see the text that she just chanted from. And as we lift the Torah, we're going to ask you to please rise as well.
Vezot Torah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai. Please be seated, everyone. Well, Jocelyn just chanted from the law, the first 5 books of the Bible. She's going to continue with the section of the Haftarah. The Haftarah portion from the prophets is connected to Isaiah, and she'll begin with her blessing before, then go right into the text itself.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar bin v'im tovim v'ratzah v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai haboher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'b'nviei ha'emet b'tzedek anya so arach lo nuhama hine anochi marbitz b'pu avanaich v'sapirim v'samti kadhor shimshataich u'sharaich le'avnei ekdah v'hol givulei v'avnei hefetz v'chol banaich limudei Adonai v'rav shalom banaich v'stakati gonani rahaki me'oshek kilo tiraich umi mechita kilo tikra alaich hein gor yagor efes meoti migar ita alaich hipo hine anohi barati charash nofea be'esh pecham umotzi chali lemasehu ve'anohi barati mashi lehabem kokeli yutzar alaycho yitzla ve'holashon takunita lamashpat toshin zot nahalat avdei Adonai v'sivkatam ne'iti ne'um Adonai.
Hold on 1 second, Jocelyn. You guys throwing candy? All right, let's start passing that around. So Jocelyn is about to offer her blessing after the Haftarah portion, and during this time, you'll notice that little bits of candy are being passed around. This is so that when she's finished with the blessing after, people in the congregation, 8th graders, are able to gently toss the candy onto the bima area over here. And of course, when the candy is finished being tossed, we welcome you to come forward, all who are young at heart, to pick up the candy, and we'll continue with the service after that. Jocelyn, you're going to be chanting, they're going to be looking at candy, so their minds may be distracted, but just plow through it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Zor kol haolamim Sadik bechol hadorot Ha'el hane'eman Ha'omer ve'oseh Ha'medaber u'mekayem Shekol devarav Emet v'tzedek Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh Shanata talanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'linuha lehavod u'letifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim la Mevarchim ota yitbarashim ha lefi kol hai tamid leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Come and pick it up, everyone. Let's pick up the candy. I think one hit my guitar, but it didn't go in. All right.
What? What? Was it my freckle? Is that what you were talking about?
Jocelyn, you can have a seat. Not into the sours. Our hearts are so filled with joy. We want to take the strength that we're feeling and remember that there are people outside the walls of this tent, as well as those who are here who could use extra healing. People who are physically, emotionally, spiritually in a dark space. Please know that this blessing belongs to you. It's on page 253 of our books. And when we get to the center of the prayer, as my eyes meet yours, please don't be shy. Share names of people that you know who could use an extra blessing today. And for those who are home on Zoom or YouTube, please feel free to, in the chat box, share those names as well. Page 253.
Mikor habracha li'imotenu, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
How do you at least say?
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema.
As we now prepare to return the Torah to the Ark, we invite forward Jacob and Riley Sanders to come forward to open the Ark, or on page 256, page 256, we invite the congregation to rise once again. Ki lekach tov natati lahem torati al ta'azovu. For I have given you good instruction. Do not abandon my Torah. And Jocelyn, why don't you come up as well? It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, shalom, it is a tree.
Shalom, shalom.
It's not a bush.
Shalom, shalom.
The tree of life.
Shalom, shalom.
It's Hine למחזיקים בתומך מיותר. It's Hine למחזיקים בתומך מיותר.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Shalom. Please be seated, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, and hello everyone. I'm Jocelyn, and as you all know, I'm here today because, as you all should know at this point, it's my Bat Mitzvah. Today is an important day for me because I've waited a very long time for this Bat Mitzvah to finally happen. 301 days exactly since I was supposed to have my Bat Mitzvah last year. When Jewish kids turn 12 or 13, they get to go through the process of becoming a bar or Bat Mitzvah. Becoming a Bat Mitzvah is important to me because it's taking that step into becoming a Jewish adult. Some things that I'm allowed to do now that I become a Jewish adult are lead a service and read from the Torah, fast for Yom Kippur, and even get married, but that won't be happening for a long time. Besides those technical things that happen now that I've become a Bat Mitzvah, another thing that becoming a Bat Mitzvah means to me is solidifying my status as a Jew and getting the chance to share my religion with others. The Torah portion for this week is Korach, but instead of that Torah portion, I already did Re'eh, which was the Torah portion for my previous Bat Mitzvah day, August 15th. Re'eh is the 47th weekly Torah portion and is in the book of Deuteronomy, and is set before the Jews enter the Holy Land or Israel. It consists of a speech that Moses gave that is mostly based around blessings and curses. Moses talks about all the different ways that Jews should practice their religion and what to do and what not to do. Some of the things that Moses talks about in his speech are the Jews should treat animals and the requirements for the tithe. Re'eh talks about exactly how an animal should be killed to be eaten. It states that the death of the animal should be 100% painless, and if it is anything but painless, it is against the Torah. There are also many other more specific rules, like the knife that kills the animal must be regularly examined to make sure it's sharp, the butcher's hands must be steady, and the animal should be killed by a horizontal cut that severs the trachea and esophagus. One of the reasons why this part of the Torah, part of the portion, is important to me is because my mom chose to make me a pescatarian when I was born, based on how animals are treated in the meat industry. It amazes me how far the industry has come from making sure the animal didn't feel any pain to becoming extremely gruesome and inhumane. I think the Torah was almost more progressive in how we treat animals than we are thousands of years later. Another thing mentioned in this portion is all the requirements for giving to the less fortunate. The text talks about how 1/10 of everyone's income every year should be put aside and given to the poor. It also talks about how every 7 years you should forgive all debt. And something very interesting that it talks about is how after 7 years, all slaves are to be freed and sent away with food and resources. Now, clearly having slaves isn't legal anymore, but I think it's kind of crazy how the Torah seems more progressive than we were just 150 years ago. I think it's very important to listen to what the Torah is saying and make sure that we give some of our income to charity every year. Judaism is very present in my life, especially in the last month or so when preparing for my Bat Mitzvah. Temple has become a place for me where I can go and feel welcome and not be afraid to ask questions about what we are learning. Another thing that I enjoy about being Jewish is all the holidays I get to celebrate with my family, like Hanukkah, Passover, Rosh Hashanah, and more. I'm so glad I grew up as part of a family that is Temple Akiba. I want to give my thanks to all the people who have helped and supported me throughout my Jewish education. Thank you so much to Rabbi and Cantor, who have made sure that I am completely prepared for my bat mitzvah and put so much effort into making this a special day for me and everyone that's here with me. Thank you to Randy and the rest of the board at Temple Akiba for making this such a magical place. Thank you to the sisterhood and the men's group for the wonderful gifts last night, and all of my past Hebrew school teachers who have taught me so much about Judaism as a whole. Lastly, I want to thank all of the people who have come here today to celebrate, including my mom and my dad and my sister, who have supported me my whole life, and all the rest of my family and friends who came, whether in person or watching on Zoom and YouTube. Thank you so much, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Wow. Sloan, why don't you come on forward?
Okay, so I have a speech for Jocelyn too. Jocelyn, over the past 13 years, I've watched you go from my little annoying sister to a Jewish adult. I'm so proud of everything you've done to get here, and I sure am glad I won't have to hear you practicing your Torah upstairs in your room anymore. You started your speech for me at my bat mitzvah by telling the Notorious paddle story. I thought I should follow the same suit. I'm 100% sure that any person here who knows us both well would know this one, especially my parents. Anytime you try and point fingers at me as the one who started our argument, I'm reminded of this story. To those who don't know yet, I'm sure my family can handle hearing it one more time. Jocelyn and I, somewhat against our own will, were put in a kayak together around 5 or 6 years ago in Oregon, in the middle of a lake. As usual, some argument started over something small, and my paddle somehow ended up smacking her in the middle of the face. This, of course, led to an even bigger argument breaking out, and the kayak coming very close to capsizing in the middle of a lake. Now, years later, this story is always brought up to laugh about in conversations. I think this sums up our relationship pretty well. Despite all of our many arguments, I love the laughs we have and the times we spend together when we aren't fighting, and I'm glad we have so many great memories from the past 13, almost 14 years. I can't wait to see what else you accomplish, and I know that you'll do amazing things in high school and beyond. Thank you for all the countless funny memories we have, and I can't wait to make many more. I love you so much, and congratulations.
Joel and Chrissy, come on together. Come on.
Hi, put my glasses on. There isn't any tissue up here, so usually there is. Jocelyn, there are so many things I want to say to you on this day, but I'll try and keep it short. Never stop being who you are, Jocelyn Blue Savitt. You are fiercely individual and are so strong in your convictions of who you are and where you want to go in life. Thank you. As much as you are a strong individual, always remember that you are an important part of something so much bigger than you. You are a part of not just this loving and wonderful community here at Temple Akiba, but you are part of a larger worldwide Jewish community. And you are part of a very large and amazing family where you are cherished and loved. Unfortunately, not everyone was able to be here today, but there are any number of people in your family who would drop everything to be there for you at any time for anything. You are also a part of some amazing friendships which span the length of your entire life, which is not that long compared to some of my friendships, but having friends your whole life is amazing. Having long friendships with friends who know you so well is a gift, and I'm so glad that you have that. Never stop being the most thoughtful person I know. Since you were little, you have always been so thoughtful and compassionate. Your online shopping obsession started young, but you were always shopping for others instead of yourself. I'll never forget that during a trip to New York, when you were 6, we happened to be there on our wedding anniversary. And without my knowing, you used your own money to buy your dad and I each a pen at the museum shop and gave it to us as an anniversary gift when you were 6 years old. It's so sweet. I still have the pen and I'll always cherish it. From a very young age, you dedicated much of your time to volunteering with and raising money for animals in need, and you continue to do so whenever you can. Your compassion and kindness touch so many, just don't forget to extend it to yourself too. Never stop pranking. I know you're reading over my shoulder. As much as it annoyed me to sit down on the toilet seat, only to have a packet of hot sauce squirt all over my legs, I was pretty impressed, and I always look back at that with a laugh. I love that you are mischievous. I hope you find as much joy and happiness as you can in life, as long as no one gets hurt. Never stop loving and advocating for animals. I know you won't. Your love of all things great and small is a huge part of who you are. I'm so grateful that we share that love because it has created the opportunity to have so many wonderful experiences together, centered on our mutual love of animals and nature. I know you don't want to hear this, but never stop being my baby. And you won't, and you can't because I won't let you. But being your mother and Sloane's mother has been the greatest honor and privilege of my life, and I've loved every single moment of it, even the hard ones. Never forget that I am always, always here for you as your biggest supporter. I will forever be on your side and on your team, in your corner, forever. That was forever. Jocelyn, when I look at you, I have so much hope for the future. If your peers are half as exceptional as you are, and I know they are, then I think we will all be all right. I'm so very proud of you. I know it wasn't easy getting to this point today, but you never backed away from the challenge and you never lost hope, even when it seemed this day would never come. I love you more than I can ever express. I also want to take this moment to thank Rabbi and Cantor and Randy, as well as all the others who have touched Jocelyn's life here at Akiba. As Jocelyn said, you have created a magical place full of warmth and love, and I'm so grateful that you are Jocelyn's community. I also want to express gratitude to our family. As the old saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child, and I'm glad that our village is so awesome and cool and full of great people. If you're here in person or joining us virtually, you know who you are, and we are very, very grateful to you, especially the fabulous grandparents who have been such a consistent and positive force in Jocelyn's life.
All right, deep breath. I couldn't have said really anything better than that. I know it's not a competition, but I found it funny that you were asking for tissues when you're always the rock star and made it through fine. And last time I fell apart at Sloane's bat mitzvah. So I'll take the deep breath and try to do this one without totally losing it. So Jocelyn Blue Savitt, let me start by thanking Rabbi, Cantor, everyone that's helped this young girl still, even though you're a Jewish adult, throughout her years. To Christy's point, it's been a phenomenal community, not just our friends and family, but those that are remoting in as well, and we appreciate everything that everyone's done. So Jocelyn, let's, you summed it up pretty well too. Like, we didn't expect to be masked in a tent 301 days ago. But here we are, it's almost a year later than planned. We're flexible with it. We made it and you made it. So congratulations. You've become the kindest, most responsible young adult, and we are so incredibly proud of you. So it wouldn't be a father's speech without a couple takeaways, but I'll try to be brief and not bore everybody. The first thing that I want to encourage you to do is, despite whatever happens in your life, is to always live your love. This phrase came to me last week, and it was just out of the blue, and I'd never heard those words together before, and I was struck about how sort of simple but deep and meaningful those words can be when you live your love. And that's what you do. You're already one who, you live your love of horses, you live your love of friendships, you live your love of planning and organization. I don't know where you got that, but my point here is just a reminder. You do these things already, but stay true to that. Life has a way sometimes of pushing people to conform or to sort of adjust or stray to what your core truth is. And I encourage you to not let that happen. As I've said, you have a ton of friends and family who also live their love. And so I know that if you continue to live your love, you'll make it through and you'll be happy. The next is you have abilities far beyond what you even know yet. And I know, we encourage you all the time and to do new things and to take chances. So just please continue to lead. You really are a leader. You've amazed me with your calmness, your patience, your determination, your resilience through the pandemic. Like, you didn't get stuck on all the things that you couldn't do any longer. And you just kind of kept plowing forward. I don't know why you chose to read the same Torah portion that you already had. I think you could have doubled down But no, but you've you took everything in stride. You were prepared for the worst. We had a lot of rough times during that time, but you understood what it would take to get us through. So always remember, you're a natural born leader, and those who are around you are going to benefit from you always staying positive and being their ally and leader. Finally, never forget, and Christy touched on this as well, that we're all here for you. You can look around, and I know it's a smaller gathering than sort of what we intended and what could be here and wanted to be here. But simply said, like, teenage years are rough, and we understand it, but you have so many caring friends and such a large, loving family that you can lean on when it's needed, without judgment. If you mess up and things happen, it happens. Things pass. So we're thankful for all that you've brought to our lives, and so be sure to take from us what you need. And we're so proud of who you are and what you've accomplished. And I just want to say a mazel tov on your fantastic partners. You did great. We love you, Coconut.
Thank you, Joel.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chris.
Appreciate it.
Jocelyn, you don't sit. You're here for a little while. This, not this book, this day. This is a day that God has created. And just take a moment to take into your heart all the rejoicing that's going on. Jocelyn, you have brought joy, you've brought light, you've brought inspiration, you've brought humor, you've brought gravitas, depth, and soul to today. You've taken the deck that you received, which wasn't fair. Andrew and I are so very impressed, not only with your accomplishments, but the way you achieved them, your journey, your thoughtfulness that went into it. You asked many questions along the way, but one of them really penetrated my heart and my thought process. You asked me early on, in my opinion, of all the commandments that we have in Judaism, what do I believe is the most important? And I told you I'd think about it. And I've been thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And it's ironic, as a rabbi, shouldn't I just have that in my pocket? This is the most important thing. But you made me think about it more deeply. And as I interacted with you more, there are a few of them that came to mind. One of them is a commandment actually from the rabbis. And that teaches that if we have animals, we're supposed to feed them before we feed ourselves. And when I thought about your connection to animals, and especially in your Torah portion, that resonated with me. But as important as that is, it was not the most important one, I thought. And then I thought about the commandment that is in the Torah itself that allows a parent to stone to death a child who talks back to him. I don't like that commandment very much. I'm amused by it, but I don't like it. But it's not the most important one. And then I thought about one that is in a portion called Nitzavim, which we read on Yom Kippur. But the reason I thought about it is because there's a part in that portion which connects to your portion about the blessings and the curses. And in that particular portion, God says through Moses, I put before you blessings and curses and life and death. Choose life that you may live. It's kind of like what your dad said. Choose life. I believe this is the most important commandment. That wherever we go, and Jocelyn, wherever you go, to take that light that's inside of you and to go forward with the vigor, with the enthusiasm, with the spirit that only you can do. And there are going to be many decisions that you make in the course of your lifetime. Whatever that decision is, be guided by choosing the best life for others, the best for yourself, the best for the animals, the best for everyone that comes under your tent of goodness. On this Shabbat of your bat mitzvah, I guarantee you, you allowed each and every one of us to embrace life like we never did before, because we're not leaving here the same person. You gave us a new hope, a new vision, a new hug. And that's what becoming a bat mitzvah is all about. And so, Jocelyn, Blue, Savitt, on this day, continue to embrace life and to move forward with all that love in your soul. We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think Cantor has some words for you also.
Ooh. Jocelyn, we are in awe of the way that you led us in prayer today. And we're also in awe of the way that you got here today. You were the epitome of Zen through this entire process. You were so relaxed, so at ease. I threw some more verses at you here, threw some more prayers at you there, and you just always said, okay, sounds good. Never once did you show that you were nervous, that you were incapable of doing anything. Maybe behind the scenes you were feeling it, but it never showed. And that made this entire process so easy. You made this seem so easy, and it's not. You worked so hard, but that beautiful soul shined through every part of the way, and especially through today. So thank you for bringing us on this incredible journey and for leading us today with such spirit and such beautiful soul. Mazel tov.
We're going to ask for your parents and your sister to come forward for a special ritual that we have. So you're going to hold this talit over her head. We'll use this one. Yeah. Sloan, come on this side, please. You're going to do double duty, holding both sides up. Okay. There, yeah. This blessing that we offer you, Jocelyn, comes from everyone who's here. Think about it like a big group hug.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
May God's light shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha shalom. Shalom.
May God's light shine upon you, Jocelyn, and grant you the most precious gift, the gift of shalom, of peace. Everyone, let's say amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, I'm going to take this group hug, family hug, everyone. Pile on her. Don't hit her in the face. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Jocelyn, you stay here. It's now our honor to call forward, representing our congregation today, a member of our current board of directors, Jerry Weiner. Jerry, Shabbat Shalom to you.
Thank you.
Jerry, come to the other side where the microphone is. Yeah, thanks.
I have like 5 pages of notes on this today, so we're going to be here a while. No, just kidding. You were awesome today.
Thank you.
The first thing I thought about, when we were doing the, Miriam's song, is that this is not Miriam's tent, this is Jocelyn's tent today. I would like to, on behalf of the Board of Trustees for Temple Akiba, welcome everyone today out here in the tent instead of in the temple, which is going to be soon, and Shabbat Shalom. Did an awesome job chanting Torah today, your Haftarah, and your amazing Drash. So I really appreciate your thinking about the way animals are treated today, because it is really horrendous, and I think maybe you're the person that will be able to do something about that in the world. We have a bat mitzvah certificate. Right here. Over there? It is. Cool middle name, too.
Thank you.
So I'd like to present this certificate of bat mitzvah to you. And and hopefully you will get this framed, and when you see it, you're going to remember this day. You should take a look at everybody that's out here and everybody that's online and just say, put it in your memory bank, because you'll appreciate that much better in the future. Also, the temple has planted a tree in Israel on your behalf. Here's a certificate for that as well. And once again, let's see here. I also love what your father said about your love of animals and being an individualist and a leader. The world needs a lot more of those right now, especially. So I think the world is in good hands. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you so much, Carrie.
Thank you.
Love your family. Also, last evening, the sisterhood presented us with a Kaddish cup for you and the men's group, Tanakh. And so, as they said, use them in good health always. Is this on? No? All right. I'm not. There we go. There we go. Okay, so just shorthand, Sisterhood Kaddish Cup, men's group, Tanakh. Use them in good health. We also have the Lador Vador scroll for you. And this is a special commissioned piece of artwork by renowned artist Mordechai Rosenstein. And every single person who becomes bar bat mitzvah at Temple Akiba has the opportunity to sign it. It says in Hebrew, Orenu me'ir tov yoter yachad. That means that our light shines brighter together. That's our temple motto. And you are going to sign right underneath Jaden Abrams, who is the last bat mitzvah here. Right there. Everyone say, put your date on there also. Everyone say, Mazel Tov! I'm looking up at all these past ones. Wow. I'm thinking of Nava Weissman, who March 14th was the last bat mitzvah we had before the pandemic began. And you're quite a few names up. So we've had a lot of bar bat mitzvahs since then. And so many of your classmates are already on here, and some of them are yet to come. Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
So as we conclude with the Aleinu, we ask all once again to please rise. We're on
282 at the bottom of the page.
If you can open the ark for me.
282. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atei gedula liotzer breishi, shelo asanu kugei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz v'yom hahu Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. We're going to remain standing, everyone. As we prepare for Kadeshia Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish, I'm on page 291. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone.
And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294. And as I look around the congregation, are there any particular people that those here are remembering who have died, whose souls are continuing to shine upon you at this specific time? So if your hand is raised as I see you, if you can say that name. Thomas. Lance. Thomas Ranks. Sam Savitt. May their memories guide us always toward goodness. On page 294, we read together. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divrach roteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayeh techol beit Yisrael, v'galau v'zman kariv imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'amei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, shemei t'kudashah b'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, gamiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who causes peace to be known in the high heavens help us understand that by reaching out to one another, we create peace on earth as well. For all Israel and for all humanity, we say, Amen. Amen. We're going to remain standing. Close your books, everyone. And we're going to invite Sloan and Joel and Christy to come back forward. Kendra, what are we closing with today?
We are closing with the singing of Oseh Shalom, and this has a lot of hand clapping, so get ready to clap your hands and join us.
Oseh Shalom b'mroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom b'mroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom b'mroma,
hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu.
Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh Shalom b'mroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Shalom b'mroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu.
Oseh Shalom b'mroma,
hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Everyone, we say Shabbat Shalom to each other, and we say Mazel Tov! Jocelyn! Wow. And everyone, this concludes our service. We're so delighted that we could be together this morning.
Because I don't think we're ever going to.